Straight ahead on CCX News, a prom and graduation party reminder, this one from Maple Grove Police. Plus, 4 decades in one school district meet the man behind one remarkable career. But first, a push for more childcare funding. We head to a Brooklyn Park daycare for perspective. CCX News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. Independent childcare operators, including one in Brooklyn Park, say they need more state money to run their businesses. Some of them met today in St. Paul to call attention to this issue. We get more from Eric Nelson, who joins us now. Eric?
Yeah, Mike, these daycare operators came to the Capitol from the Twin Cities and parts of outstate Minnesota. They called themselves the Kids Count on Us campaign. They are outraged over proposed legislative cuts to child care programs, and they want politicians to provide more funds, not cut them.
The children that we are educating is our future. And education is always, especially early childhood education, has always taken a back pedal. We've never really gotten the funding that we really need. It's always a cut, a freeze, where we can't afford it.
At the news conference in St. Paul, the daycare providers shine the spotlight on childcare funding. Minnesota has a $1.65 billion surplus, and they believe some of that money should go to independent daycare businesses. At the 3R's Child Care Center in Brooklyn Park, they say cuts would be devastating and could have a domino effect, such as making it more difficult for families to afford daycare and for 3R's to give employees proper compensation.
We're finding it harder and harder to hire qualified staff because the funding is always cut or we don't get an increase because they're taking other jobs that's not even in their field to be able to live. We have to pay them. I mean, it is a business.
Now, according to the Minnesota Budget Project, the average cost of infant care at a child care center in Minnesota was almost $15,000 in 2015, ranking it as one of the most expensive in the U.S. Mike?
All right, thank you. In Maple Grove, one of the city's shopping centers has reportedly been sold. The Minneapolis-St. Paul Business Journal reports that the Grove Square Shopping Center, located near I-94 and Highway 610, has been sold to a Chinese investor for $27 million. Grove Square tenants include JCPenney, Walgreens, and Golden Corral Restaurant. A new identity in both look and words will go up outside Brooklyn Park City Hall. Aluminum arches like these will become the new monument sign. It was done by a Twin Cities designer who previously did work for such places as the Guthrie Theater and the Minneapolis Central Library. The sign will also include the city's new branding tagline, Unexpected Vitality and Opportunity. The current City Hall sign is 25 years old and will be torn down. A company from Wausau, Wisconsin will do the work for about $67,000, which is about $25,000 below what the city budgeted for. Brooklyn Center lawmaker says a proposal to allow brewers to sell more beer directly to consumers is unfair. Deborah Hillstrom argued against a move to allow brewers to sell more growlers like these. She says it puts them in competition with liquor stores, which was not meant to happen.
The exception to existing laws given a few years ago to the small breweries to sell directly to the customers were initially given to help very small breweries. Now big breweries want them, and it's directly harming everyone else and is unfair and is controversial.
The supporters argued the change is a response to consumer demands. In the end, the House tabled the liquor bill, which also would have moved the bar closing time in Hennepin County to 4 a.m. after the Super Bowl and allowed the city of New Hope to issue a liquor permit for its golf course. As graduation nears for thousands of high school students, there's a reminder for parents about parties and responsibility. Police say graduation is a time to celebrate achievements, but they also remind parents about social host ordinances on the books in 7 Northwest metro cities. Maple Grove Police put this reminder on their Facebook page. The ordinance allows parents to be fined if alcohol is supplied to minors in their home, and the parents don't even have to be there.
So if you tell somebody go ahead and have a party, just as long as everybody stays home, I don't really care if there's underage drinking, they can still be convicted of a crime. So just because you're not home isn't a viable excuse to say that you weren't aware that it was occurring. If you have any knowledge at all, or provide any alcohol or do anything that's related to that, you can be convicted of a crime.
A violation carries a $1,000 fine and up to 90 days in jail. Well, now to a story that impacts Osseo area schools. Don Pasco has been with the school district for 43 years and now he's retiring. His work is done behind the scenes, but his impact in the district is felt front and center. Reporter Sonia Goins has more on his remarkable career.
There are lots of things that have changed.
Don Pasco has been a fixture in the Osseo community since like forever.
When I started as a student, the district was a little farm district.
He grew up here and went to school in the district.
And I played hockey in high school.
Before launching his education career that started in 1973.
This is when I was a curriculum specialist and I worked with science.
His hairstyles have changed over the years.
Long hair, big collar.
And so have his job positions.
Coached hockey, taught biology, I ran the Gifted and Talented program.
He was also curriculum specialist in math, science, and computer literacy. Now his current title is Director of Research and Assessment. Calculating the achievement gap is a big priority.
When I started, there weren't enough students of color. We didn't have enough to hardly calculate any scores.
He says the district has worked hard to close the achievement gap between white and black students.
We make some gains, we slide back. Our population is always changing.
Meanwhile, Don says he didn't become an educator for the money.
This is education. We are a people business. Our biggest assets are our people.
But he did so to help enrich the lives of others.
It is really about getting adults and kids into situations where they can thrive and do their best work.
In Osseo, Sonia Goins, CCX News.
Pasco will retire in June. He still plans to volunteer in the district, but says he is looking forward to spending more time with his family. But still ahead, a swimming lesson that's also an important life lesson. That's coming up next in Health Check. Plus, Hopkins tries to duplicate an earlier win over Minnetonka in Lake Conference baseball. We'll have the highlights. But first, our string of wet weather continues on Wednesday. Rain could be heavy at times. In Robbinsdale, organizers of the Birdtown Half Marathon are hoping for better weather on Saturday. That's when more than 500 runners will line up at the starting line at Lakeview Terrace Park. They're also looking for a few volunteers to beef up the Race Marshal Cheer Squad. Their job is to motivate runners, keep them going in the right direction, and help keep intersections safe.
We need our runners to be safe on race day, and these race marshals are really the key to ensure that our race goes off without a hitch. Lakeview Elementary provided a group of students that have a running club along with their chaperones, and they sort of man that whole area along the Lakeview Elementary area.
And the runners say that's the best part of the race. You can also sign up to volunteer or to run in Saturday's race by going to birdtown.com. Well, it feels like summer, and soon it will be summer, with more children wanting to enjoy Minnesota's lakes, rivers, and pools. And for children under the age of 5, the leading cause of death is accidental drowning. In today's Health Check report, Delane Cleveland looks at some of the ways to stay safe in the water this summer.
Yep, you have your goggles on, and I'll hold on to you, okay? Ready?
The pool at the Lifetime Fitness in Plymouth is a gathering spot for swimmers of all levels. Even those like 3-year-old Grayson of Maple Grove, who's 2 months into swimming lessons.
So far, so good. He's warming up to the water, but he's more confident than he was, definitely.
For Grayson's mother, Miranda Wilcox, it goes deeper than simply wanting to teach him how to swim.
Last year, we had a 3-year-old in our family that drowned in a party pool.
She says a family tragedy is one of the biggest factors as to why she signed him up for lessons.
That is a major concern of mine, to get him swimming so there won't be another accident like that.
That incident happened in Utah, but Hennepin County is no stranger to drownings.
Absolutely, it can happen at any time really quickly.
Kirsten Stanley is the aquatics manager at Lifetime Fitness. She recommends children take lessons as soon as possible.
Water is a very dangerous place to be around for anyone, whether you're a young child, an adult, swimmer, non-swimmer, and being in lessons just really promotes the idea of staying safe in the water and being active and engaged with it.
Lessons here begin at the age of 4 months. And as the summer approaches, they'll have lessons available all day, every day for all age groups.
Best situation would be no drownings. That would be wonderful. And as long as people think about it and take those basic safety precautions, I think we can help prevent a lot of them.
People like Miranda, who experienced that tragedy in her family, her advice is simple.
Get them in the water as soon as possible. Get them comfortable in the water.
High five! Way to go, Grayson!
In Plymouth, Delane Cleveland, CCX News.
In 2016, Hennepin County had 7 drownings. One important safety tip to remember is that if someone cannot swim 25 meters continuously without help, to make sure that an adult who can swim is within 10 feet of them at all times. Still ahead, a unique art exhibit in Golden Valley featuring artists from across the country. But first, Maple Grove and Armstrong meet in an important boys lacrosse matchup. Jay Wilcox is in next.
Just like that, nothing to go.
I'm Jay Wilcox with sports. The Maple Grove boys lacrosse team came into Monday night unbeaten and leading the Northwest Suburban Conference standings. The Crimson figured to get a tough test from a good Armstrong team, and that's exactly what happened. Quick passing for Maple Grove as Max Johnson finds Jack Dugan, who scores just before taking a hit to make it 1-1. Armstrong's Matthew Zera unleashes a hard shot to score his second goal of the night, and the Falcons tie it up 2-2. Later in the first quarter, Dugan gets the clean steal, and he's in alone with the goalie to score. The Crimson lead 4-2 after 1. Each team scores once in the second quarter. Then Armstrong's Elliot Olson finds Zera for the goal. The Falcons are within 5-4 in the third. Carter Lysing makes a nice move to get to the front of the net. He pays the price but scores to make it 6-4 Maple Grove. Jackson Carlson flips it ahead for the Crimson, and Dugan scoops it up. Watch him weave through the defenders to score, and Maple Grove takes a 7-4 lead. Armstrong comes right back though. Austin Greiner scores on the run, and the Falcons are within 7-6 through 3 quarters. But that lead holds up for Maple Grove as Armstrong misses from point-blank range in the last minute of the game. Maple Grove stays unbeaten with a hard-fought win.
Feels good. I mean, we still got a few games left. Still an uphill battle for us the rest of the season, going into sections, finishing off the regular season. So we're not done yet.
Monday's midday rain washed out several high school games and matches. Hopkins and Minnetonka, though, were able to get their baseball game in on Minnetonka's turf field. First inning, Hopkins with runners at first and third, and they start Luke Polyak from first base. He's safe at second. Tommy Oth dashes home from third. The Royals lead 1-0. Later in the same at-bat, Bobby Wilson grounds a single through the hole and into left field for a hit. Polyak scores as the Royals go up 2-0 after 1. Hopkins pitcher Ben Wallin is solid early in this one. He freezes Tonka's T.J. Rogers at the plate here in the third inning to keep the game 2-0. It stays that way until the fifth when Aaron Brush drives a ball to the fence in left field for extra bases. Gus Steiger is in with the skipper's first run of the game. The next hitter up is Jimmy Ramsey, and his hit will travel a long way to the fence in straightaway center. Brush scores a run, tying the game up at 2 apiece. Still in the fifth, and Garrett Olson will hit one hard off the third baseman's glove and into short left. Joel Thimpson scores. Minnetonka gets 4 runs in the inning to lead it 4-2. The sixth inning is even better for the Skippers. This time Olson drives the ball to the gap in right center. Jack Wandersee and Nate Shoemaker come in for 2 more runs to make it 8-2. Minnetonka goes on to win 11-2 as they split the season series with the Royals. Well, girls badminton hasn't caught on yet in many of the high schools in the northwest suburbs. One local team did take the court for the opening round of the team portion of the state tournament on Monday. Prairie Seeds Academy of Brooklyn Park facing Minneapolis Washburn in the first round. This is Yer Yang serving in the #1 singles match for Prairie Seeds, and she wins this point against Penelope Ansrud for the Lycans. And it's Ansrud on the serve, and she'll take the next point on her way to a victory. Malia Love gets Prairie Seeds' only win at #3 singles. In the #2 doubles match, Washburn's Claire McGinley and Raina Bernstein take the point as the Millers win the match 6-1. The rest of the team tournament is Tuesday with singles and doubles play Wednesday and Thursday at Burnsville. The regular season comes to an end soon for local softball squads. On this week's Sports Jam show here on CCX, we profile Champlain Park's University of Toledo bound Brittney Davis. Here's a clip from that story. At Toledo, Davis hopes to start a journey in the medical field. A tough course load for a D1 athlete.
I want to be a OBGYN, which is like a gynecologist. I just like health, so. I still have to continue talking to my coach because we have to obviously figure out schedules, but I have a passion for that and I want to do it, so if I want to do it, I'm going to go get it.
Her teammates and coaches aren't surprised that Davis will play college ball at a high level. She's been a big asset to the Rebels program.
For a while, like right when we first started at the high school, we were competing for the same position, but now it's like, it's just so great knowing that she's at third base. Like, it's a really great security to know that she's there for you, and knowing with me at first base that she's always going to make her plays and always do the stuff she needs to do, and it's just awesome to know she's there.
Just a phenomenal hitter, and you know, has really pushed our kids to be better and really kind of elevated our program. And you know, being the first kid that I know of that's going D1 for softball is pretty special.
Watch the rest of the Brittney Davis story and more on this week's Sports Jam. It's on through Wednesday at 3:30, 6:30, and 9:30 p.m. on CCX and online anytime at ccxmedia.org. That's it for Sports Mike. Back to you.
All right, Jay, thank you. Up next, artists from across the country flock to Golden Valley, and what makes this exhibit unique when we come back. Finally, a place you wouldn't expect turned into an art gallery. The Courage Kenny Center in Golden Valley is hosting the 53rd annual art show and sale by artists with disabilities. More than 160 artists from all over the country have submitted roughly 370 pieces of artwork. All of the pieces are for sale, with the artists keeping 75% of the profits.
It is a juried show, so we have a panel of judges that comes in and awards first, second, third place, an honorable mention in each category, and then also a best in show and a judge's encouragement award.
You can view the art through Friday at Courage Kenny from 9 a.m. till 4 p.m. And that'll do it. That's it for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll see you back here again Wednesday, starting at 4.